Hello YouTube, this is You Can Do It Dave. Now that all the demolition is done for the Hobbit Home, it's time to start working on getting this round window all built up so I can install it in the new house when the time comes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I go from this to this. Okay, as you can see, it does work out in the end. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I did in planning to make the round cuts in the window frame was I happened to have a piece of this board laying around the shop. Okay, you have to get it big enough that it will hold the window. You don't want to go over the edges. Okay, and what I did was I drilled out a center point big enough, just big enough for the steel pin. You want a nice tight fit in there. You don't want it too loose, but you want a nice tight fit. Okay, so then from the center point I measured out 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4. Okay, so I'm up to 36 inches on one side. Okay, now what this does is, if you take your rough window frame, okay, you want to find the center of this frame. Okay, so what I do is, okay, there's 22 there, line it up to 22, 22 there. Now having the holes there on each side is rather handy. You can line it up that way so you know that's even. Okay, and then you follow that around, 22, 22, and you can center it. So there you go, it's centered on the 22 line. So you know that's the center point. Okay, so now when I first started doing these frames, I measured in where I thought I would need to go. Okay, so let's say the furthest point is 12 1/8. Okay, well I want it at the closest, the shortest point. No, you want it at the farthest point. So 12 1/4 inches. Okay, that way when the router goes around, it will hopefully clip each one of these round points off, or the flat points off, all the way around. Okay, so I take that 12 1/4 measurement, and I come over here to my router. There's the router bit, and I drill another hole in the tabletop. Nice tight fit, no wiggle, and that should be from the far side of the bit to the center of that pin. It's right on 12 1/4. Okay, and then it's the same way. Then it's the same way with the outer curve. Okay, but with the outer curve you want the smaller measurement. You don't want the bigger measurement. You want the smaller one. That's about 14 5/8. Okay, so you come back here and you drill another hole at 14 5/8, right there. Okay, and what I do is I raise the router bit just high enough to mark the wood. Once I have the frame centered on, say, the 22 line, okay, and it's evenly spaced all the way around, what I do is I slide it off the table and I put one screw in each of the 4 corners. Okay, so it is attached to the board. Then I flip it over. Okay, and I circle where I'm going to put the screws. Okay, and what this does is you can line up the screw holes again. So you're going to have to remove this off this board at least once. Once you have these screw holes marked and placed, you'll be able to re-fasten it to the board in the exact same spot. So you number the hole number 1, and you number the frame number 1. I also like to put number 2 on there as well, so you know, okay, number 1 is there, number 2 is there, everything else should fall in line. Okay. One of the things you'll notice is that I'm using the old-fashioned hand screwdriver. Since this wood is only like an inch thick, I've got almost an inch long screws, probably the same inch long, an inch long. And I don't want to strip them. They're going into a soft wood, so I'm using the hand screwdriver so I can just snug them in. If you use a power driver, you could strip them out very easily. Okay, so you've got your rough frame centered on the circles. Okay, you've put in 8 different screws, one in each board. Okay, you've snugged them down so they're nice and snug, but not stripped. And then you've circled where the screws go and numbered them. That's important. Okay. Then what I do is I take a piece of wood the same size as the frame that I'm making. Okay, so it's all sitting flat. You put your pin in the hole you drilled. Your router bit is up just like a 1/4 inch. That's about all you need. Maybe even an 1/8 of an inch. You line up the pins. And you're ready to router. So now you flip it over and you see how you did. Okay, so there is the finished cut. Okay, nice and round. Okay, and I measured really closely, but it did work. Okay, so if I take the one I just made, put it over top, there you go. Okay, or if I flip it over that way, the other way. There, that's a perfect fit right there. See that? Okay, so that is the inside groove. Now, I have 2 separate problems. The first problem here was to make the inside of the frame big enough for the stained glass. But I also needed the inside lip big enough to support the window pane one way or the other. I couldn't go too small or I couldn't go too big. Okay, so I think I came up with a happy medium. Good solid lip to hold the glass. Enough room for the stained glass. So now, since this is the inside profile of the inside window, then I'm going to match the outside window to match the same profile. Okay, and I'll just put the same lip in this one. So now I've routered out the inside lip. Now I've got to router out the outside lip. Okay, so now routering out the outside lip is the same as routering out the inside. Okay, you get your measurement, whatever you want that measurement to be. Okay, you drill your hole, you measure, and then you put the pins in and you're ready to router. So once you're done routering the second time, again, you can flip it over and have a look. Now again, I cut it pretty close, okay, but now I'm looking at the inside measurement, so me missing the outside doesn't really count. Okay, and if we compare it to the original, it's the same pinholes, same measurements, pretty much same everything, and there you go. So now what you do is you flip it over and you pull out all the screws. Okay, once you've pulled out the screws, you can set this aside. You take your now routed window frame, and your jigsaw, and you cut all this waste off. Okay? Try not to hit your nice window frame that you're trying to make, and just go down the center of that groove. Okay, so once you've routed out all the big pieces off the inside and outside of the window frame, it's time to remount your window frame back to the router board. Okay, so I take one screw and I put it in hole number 1 that's been already marked, and then I take the board number 1, which was already marked, and since there's only one hole there, it should be fairly easy to set the screw head, or set the point of the screw in the hole and drill it, screw it back in. So once you get that number 1 screw in the top of the window frame, I find it's very easy to slide the window sash or the window frame back and forth until you can actually see the screw holes in the wood. Once you can verify that you see all 8 screw holes and you're putting the screws in, you got it made. It's in the exact spot it was. You're ready to continue on. So what you do now is you put your pin back in and you mount your board. But this time you raise your router bit just high enough to touch the backer board, okay? Because what we're doing is we're removing as much of the wood as we can, and then we're letting the router bit clean up the rest, okay? If you did not use the jigsaw to cut into that groove, there's a possibility you'd burn out your router bit and clog it up, and it's just too much. I find it's just too much wood to do that size of a groove. Okay, so you do a tiny little groove, you cut through it with a jigsaw, and the excess is removed by the router bit on the second pass. Okay. Okay, so now we can see what it looks like. Okay, so now, since you've routed it twice, don't be surprised if you have little overlaps. Okay, there is a little lip there. Okay, a little bit of sanding, be perfect. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now let's compare it to the first one I did. And it is a perfect fit. How about that? Okay, so now what we can do is we can get ready to router in the window groove. And I happen to have a 3/4 inch router bit. Okay, and what I'm going to do with that is you measure the window, the width of the window, and you divide that in half. Okay, so that when you sandwich these two pieces together, the window pane is going to be in the center. Okay, so you want it kind of 50-50. Now I'm going to have some styrofoam insulation, or is that foam insulation, cushioning the window. So I'm going to make it just a tad bit bigger. And it works out to about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so now I'll work on that. Now keep in mind, this is the only time that you'll really have to work the router bit really hard. Okay, you're taking off a 3/4 inch strip of wood, and you got to take your time with it. You don't want to burn the wood or break your bit. And it's the same thing with the measurements. You figure out where you want the groove, how wide that one measurement is, and then you transfer that measurement to the outside of the router bit and the center of the pin. Okay? So now what I especially like about doing it this way is the router bit is covered. You don't have to worry about routering your fingers. Okay, it's fairly secure. You got a good hold on your piece. It's not going to go anywhere. So let's see what we got. Okay, it needs a little sanding, but let's see here. The glass should fit right in there, and then the next frame goes right on top. There's your window frame, or there's a window sash. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the router board. I'm going to sand it up, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so now once I get this glued and screwed together, and it's nice and solid, the window's completely held in place, and padded with the foam strip. Whatever little gap there's left, I can sand it flat. Like it's very 1/16 of an inch, if anything. Okay, that's completely smooth. Right? Once you get it centered and in place, very little sanding needs to be done because you were using the same pins, same measurements, same everything. Okay. So there is my finished window sash. Okay. Next up is to work on the actual window frame. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put in some side pins and make the tilting mechanism. So this is You Can Do It Dave signing off for now, and I'll see you next time.